I'm making this film for my friend Deborah, who's ill in Berlin, and who, along with her daughter, was here almost 10 years ago. And as I say this, I can't help but think that how fast and how strangely time has sort of fled. And in a way, that can be summarized by this apartment, which has, in a way, been through a lot. And, I moved here sort of necessity from Bethesda in 2006, I think, or maybe it was 2007. I don't remember anymore. And I never intended on living here very long. The original plan was to live here for 3 or 4 months, and then we would do whatever, get a house or something. But for various reasons, I stayed. And so what I'm going to do is do this in 3 minutes or less. Okay. So sort of just kind of walking through this small apartment here. First of all, you see that I've got a lot of Shakespeare here. For a long time, I taught for one of my Maryland colleges upper level Shakespeare and a little bit of lower level Shakespeare, and designed some classes and things like that. So along the way, I purchased a lot of videos. It's not all of them, but I think that's the major ones. So I never could bring myself to invest in a huge flat screen. I thought about it a couple of times, but the little $300 one always was fine. I did get a sound bar, which made it a little bit better, but I didn't, I don't really care about, excuse me, stuff like this. Looking up on the wall, I'm tempted to send this video to Tim in Paris, because he and I went to that 1983 Manet exhibition at the Grand Palais, which was fantastic. I mean, he and I spent hours and hours there, sort of struggling our way through the Japanese tourists. And somewhat coincidentally, here's a poster of a play that his son and I saw 4 years ago now, Les Liaisons Dangereuses. It was very good. It was by a French theater group in French, and it was, it was good. It was really good. Then you get Mozart's and stuff that I kind of accumulated while I was in Europe. Now, you see that I'm beginning to pack out. I guess I should mention that I'm scheduled to move into my house on the 22nd of December. We were supposed to sign the settlement, as they call it in the States, on the 21st, sometime in the late afternoon, and I get the keys, and then it's mine. At first, I didn't have all these bookcases. Deborah will remember that this was a kind of an open, airy room once upon a time, but it's not anymore. This is where I have most of my sort of philosophical classics there, and I've got Descartes, and Tony Lee, my boss, is a big Johnson person, and so I do my best to read some Johnson when I can. Then we have this sort of memento stuff, Venice, where I spent long time. And then there's people won't recognize that, but that's Trier in the 50s, the outskirts of Trier in the 50s. There's a big map of France, and there's some India stuff. Let me see what's here. Just kind of do this. The lights. I should turn on the lights, I realize, but I'm not going to. There's a large photograph from my trip to India, blah blah, China, and here's some stuff that, for my kids when they were little, and here's another one. That was when we were at a hotel in Fairfax County, and I was doing all the, the custody battling. Here, let me do this. Here's my presidential award. Let's see if I can, I don't know if you probably can't read it, that I got 2 years after I came to the United States. And there's something that, once again, Tony Lee managed to give me from the English department. And of course, no Californian would do anything without a Cal Bears pennant. There's a thing that I got at the Maison de Balzac in the 16e, I guess it is. Okay, so the kitchen, you see what a mess my life is, actually. That I had no real room for a true kitchen here, and little by little, I had to move bookshelves into here. Okay, this is continuing the Shakespeare theme. I know Deborah is absolutely not interested in this, but you're getting subjected to it, Deborah. I'm sorry. Okay, you've got most of the Arden Shakespeare's. There's the Yale, and here's the New Oxford Shakespeare. There's a facsimile first folio, and then London stuff. And here's most of my, here's a thing on, I've been doing South Asia a lot. And so you've got a bunch of South Asia stuff, and this is like Nietzsche letters, and I forget what they call it. It's probably not the Gesamtausgabe, but that's sort of what it is. Studienausgabe, maybe. Anyway, so I got that. I bought, excuse me, I bought those things in the 70s in Heidelberg. The moment that they came out, I was just ecstatic. And there's more Nietzsche stuff, and you see here that, you know, I've never done a major study of Zola, but I wanted to and want to, I guess. And there's some Proust, which is cool. And then there's all my Heidegger stuff, and of course, very mixed feelings about Heidegger. You know, it's mostly hate, but no, there's no love actually. So I don't even want to say that. Okay, let me do like a little twist here. You sort of see that I've done some Hardy stuff. I've never taught Hardy, not very much. And here's something, I actually got this all along the Seine, and I've always meant to get it framed, get that stuff kind of framed and make it look nice. And in fact, it's not. Okay, now, Deborah, I'll spare you my bedroom. Poor Erin, Deborah's daughter, was sick as a dog when she was here. She was, I don't know, maybe 21 at the time, and I felt really sorry for her. Okay, here, this is not up to Deborah's standards in terms of neatness, but this is where, originally it was the bedroom, but I had that, I hate to say it in public, the bedbug infestation that we managed to resolve, but I could never sleep in that room again. And, you know, I had to protect the bed and stuff like that. So I moved it into my former study. You see, this is kind of a sloppy mess. I'll be glad to get out of this room. Yeah, but I did do a lot of work here. I mean, a lot there. And I sort of kept the fires alive. Well, I don't even know that I did. One of my frustrations is, whereas in Germany, my library was always very nice and very, very orderly. You know, almost, you know, book by book orderly. See, I got a lot, most of my French stuff. You see all the French novels there, more French stuff, but it's all kind of, you know, torn apart and in, you know, different areas. Okay, of course, the same thing, just as I would never go any place without a Calbert's pennant. I would never go any place without my picture of Descartes. My friend Tim in Paris inspired me to do a study of Descartes when I first got there, and I haunted him for years about that. And here, this is of course the irreplaceable world genius Samuel Johnson that Tony and his girlfriend gave me. There's Paris. And I meant to frame this and kind of do a fake nice, but I never did. I probably never will. Let me see, what else do I have? Okay, so here, you can't see this very well. That's too bad. It's how we do it at the time. It's still under 2 minutes. Deborah, this is Heidelberg, obviously. Your husband took those beautiful, beautiful photos of Heidegger. This is just Heidelberg, and this is just a tourist poster that Rosemary Hoffman actually gave me. Yeah, and I didn't steal it from her; she gave it to me. Okay, there's Margaret Bienchen, as in Nadine, and the dog. Okay, General the wonderful golden retriever, and there's my Nimla stuff, and of course I've got all these posters of the Great War. And, one of these days I'll hang them properly. And this is Beth Mulheron. Saw me salivating in her office, where I don't even remember which office, one of her offices, for that Maryland school where I taught for a while. And she I'm sorry for laughing, but it is funny. A month later, she just gave it to me. I'm sure she thought I was just pathetic. I liked the poster, and she obviously, it's a really cheaply hung thing. She just gave it to me. She probably has much better ones. Okay, and this is kind of a mess. This is my war stuff, which at one time, you know, I worked on a lot, but I kind of left it aside for, I don't quite know what. Okay, that's it, and there's the NIMLA poster, Deborah. The NIMLA is in Pittsburgh, and then it's in D.C., and my plan is to persuade you and your daughter to come back to D.C. in 1919. You see where I am, 2019, for the 50th anniversary of NIMLA. And let's just close with the immediate destination, which is out of Western civilization, away from the era of that person that I don't really ever mention, and to the former French colonies in India. Okay, with that one, I'm just going to close. Thanks, Deborah. I hope you're feeling okay.